So, I deeply fucking hope that this is working right now. I'm not kidding. But yeah, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. This definitely will be quite a different episode. I do just have to say because, yeah, I actually recorded 2 episodes just before. One episode actually for Friday because I'm expecting not to be at home at Friday after school, and therefore I do just have to produce these episodes in beforehand to just be sure, okay, there is a video, so that I'm not quite getting crippled by the feeling of not putting out something. This is actually really like a feeling. I do just really don't want to put out nothing. The problem that I'm having right now is that I actually didn't fuck it up, but again, the whole audio was quite disturbed and everything was broken, and I don't know why, but it was broken. So therefore, half an hour is just, quite fucked, which is totally a bad feeling, even though I do just have to say, I would have had to cut this episode, which was totally something I wasn't into. So therefore, I might be even a little bit grateful for actually having just a quick talk with you. Actually, I'm trying to do it as long as possible to not just, give you not something of value. I do think, I'm quite now thinking about, maybe, yes, I'll do this. You know what? I'll just give so much of a fuck on this right now. Because I actually left out quite only a bit, quite really a bit of this fucking episode. So therefore, I'm gonna just go through all the things that I haven't been talking about in the Wooden by John Wooden summary. So therefore, you can just learn something from me or from this one thing to actually also, even though the whole episode might be fucked or might be, fucked before, everything is good now, and I'm just going to go through this one and the last few bits of it. Let's see. This is actually the one. Yeah, this is actually the one. So goals should be difficult to achieve because those achieved with little effort are seldom appreciated, give little personal satisfaction, and are often not very worthwhile. Could actually be true. I do really think that goals should be some kind of a changing, and I also told in the other episode that was broken. That is quite a two-handed thing or two-sided thing, because on the one hand, the small things matter. It's not like all these small things do not matter and you just can't give a fuck about them. I think it's not the truth. I think especially all those little things do just really add up, and then at the end you have just a really big thing. And so therefore I wouldn't just give a fuck on the small things, but I do just understand, okay, you might be celebrating the really big things a little more than just the really small things, like taking a cold shower every single day, than actually just winning the Super Bowl. This quite two exact same things in terms of, okay, you're achieving something. The one is maybe once a year, and the one is maybe once a day, but you're achieving something. But I still understand why people actually just celebrate the one more than the other one. Mix idealism with realism and add hard work. This will often bring much more than you could ever hope for. Actually true. I think being a little bit realistic about the things is definitely important, to just be truthful to yourself, not be just living in the wrong reality. I do just really want to point out, I did just make a whole video on having a disturbed reality. It was a great book. It was just a really, really great insight into just how you can just change and or manipulate the reality so that you can actually believe in some things that are actually not true. And this is then the problem, that you're actually believing in things that are not true, and therefore you're just living in a wrong world. And this book was great. Maybe you just type in my name and something like cognitive distortion. Maybe there is something in the internet, and you just type something in like, where did I say reality? Yes, there should be definitely something with reality. And yeah, and always in the episode I will just say, okay, this is the first one, the second one, or whatever episode it was. Understand that there is a price to be paid for achieving anything of significance. I do just have to see, okay, it's a little bit. No. Okay, I just missed it. Where did I stop? Yeah, there's a price always to pay. At least it's time. It could always be something else like relationships or something that's more heavy, some kind of. But quite every single time it is about time, and even if it is time, and a lot of people just think about time as something so precious, and I think on one hand it totally is, and on the other hand it is not, because if you can't do anything but you have the time, so if you're just really someone who just wants to get an internship, you have a lot of time, and you might not be able to offer a lot of value for the work you're doing, but you can do a lot of work, and this is also the other hand of the time. But on the other side, okay, it's definitely precious, because you have one life, even though maybe in the future we will be able to live, maybe even my kids, they will be maybe even able to live as long as they want, because we have been just developing our technology so good that, yeah, it is actually possible in the future. Wooden told his athletes in basketball, I don't care if you are tall, but I do care if you play tall. Which was actually then about the effort. And I was just pointing out in the other episode that, yeah, effort is very important, and effort can actually surpass your talent or other one's talent as well, because this is actually something you can see a lot. At my point of view, this is definitely some kind of a stereotype, whatever. That there are the geniuses that are really, they do not get any attention or something, and then are the really talented persons, but they're so fucking lazy that they didn't get to any success ever in their life because they were too lazy, but they had great potential. And this is then something that's definitely some kind of a sad thing, because especially if people just understand and know that this certain person has a lot of just abilities, has a lot of talent, and they see it, but maybe the person itself doesn't see it, and or he doesn't care about it. Could also be a thing. This one is about maybe you think that you can't make a difference in the way things are, but that's totally wrong, because you can change yourself, and by changing yourself you could also be a role model, which is totally something that's pretty fucking important and pretty fucking powerful, because if really people just look up to you and take every single word you're just saying for, not for granted, but for really just serious, that they actually will do everything you will say, or they just will kind of think about it even. This is also accomplishment. If people actually think about doing something only because you said it, then I think that you have a great power, but on the other side, it's also a negative power. You can just do a lot of harm if you do just have this kind of an influence. But rather we should just, kind of focus on the positive things than the negative things. So I do think you have a great influence on the world and on the people, and not just on the people and through the people on the world. Promise to give so much time to improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. The funny thing is, as I'm going through this as quite quick as I'm possibly be able to, I quite just remember what I've been telling you in the other episode, or I've been telling quite myself in the other episode, which was quite funny. So I was talking there about in the old Les Brown and Will Smith and Eric Thomas speeches, they were always talking about actually just really taking so much time for yourself in terms of improving yourself, to actually not being able to criticize anybody or judge anybody else because you're so, out of time quite. Don't measure yourself by what you have accomplished, but rather by what you could have accomplished or should have accomplished. And this is something I'm not quite sure about. I think this might only just cripple you, and I'll let it be like it is. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is is almost a preverb, education will not, and the world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent, which is basically the thing that I was talking about before. Leadership is the ability to get individuals to work together for the common good and the best possible results, while at the same time letting them know they did it themselves. Because people just love it to just create something themselves, even though they maybe have just been creating this certain thing for somebody else, or they just only think they created it themselves, but at the end it was somebody else. Just people like to create things on their own. They just like to have their own ideas, to persist in their own ideas, and so on. So this was this one. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll just close it up once, just to be able. Sorry for showing that. There it is. It's always kind of problematic thing with the whole Windows setup, because it seems to be that I'm actually always having to just readjust the whole settings, that actually everything is running smoothly and as I want it to be. The 4 laws of learning, which are actually pretty fucking important. Explanation, which means actually one person actually kind of explains what the whole thing is all about, or the basics quite. Then he demonstrates it, or she demonstrates it to you. Then you imitate it, and then you repeat it until you actually do not have to really imitate it anymore, or you don't need any instructions or explanations anymore by the person who actually learned it to you or teach it to you. People learn more effectively if given information in bit-sized amounts rather than everything and all at once. And there is a difference between the journey and the in. I didn't actually know what he wants to say by that, but yeah. Success is a peace of mind that is the direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. Which basically for me just ends in being, okay, you're happy and everything is great. And for me, it's just correlated for me with happiness, which means that, yeah, if you're happy, then you have a successful life. And I do quite believe in it as well. You know, if you do just have a happy life and there's nothing to complain about, nothing to be sad about, yeah, you know, there is then nothing to complain about. And why would you then be unhappy and or not satisfied with your life? And why wouldn't you then just think about your life as being a success? And the last one is, big things are accomplished only through the perfection of minor details. I wouldn't say that, because at my point of view, perfection is especially something in nowadays world where everything is so fast, something that shouldn't be there, and something you shouldn't be just relying on quite. You shouldn't be just, putting everything on, first of all, your quality, because this is also subjective, and second of all, your perfectionism. But besides that, I do think that all big accomplishments just need to have big effort, or need to just have big effort put into them to actually accomplish them, or to actually get to them, and also do some things that actually other people are not doing. If you want to build a physique, you may be training or working out quite a lot, which a lot of people are not doing, which do not have the physique you will have. If you want to have a business, you will just have to work as hard as you can to actually achieve that certain thing, and other people didn't put in the work and therefore didn't achieve what you then achieved yourself. I think this is just it, and this is just what it is. But yeah, so this is it with the episode, just to really go through it quite quickly. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you liked it, and I hope it wasn't a too quick and too just maybe crazy kind of end for this one. But it was quite fun for me, to be honest. With that being said, I hope you get the best self-health. I always say self-health, but health, wealth, happiness, and success. And do still not forget about remembering your legacy and thinking about giving back to the people. I'll see you.